Good morning, you beautiful people. How are you today? I'm Joanna Hall and welcome to my YouTube channel, Joanna Hall WalkActive, and today's live morning instant body booster. And I have a focus on, this is our session, our third session actually, for my special focus on wrists, ankles, hands and feet, and also hip flexors. So maybe some areas that maybe get a little bit neglected and need a bit of TLC. So this 15-minute, 20-minute posture enhancing exercises to really help us start our day a little bit brighter. So how are you doing? As you come on in, I like to come a little bit early, have a little slurp of coffee with you. I hope you're well. I hope you are bright and breezy and life is treating you well wherever you are in the world. If you're in real time, hello. What are you drinking this morning? You all right? I'm just having a slurp of my coffee. Oh, I do need that. And if you're on catch up, wherever you are, I hope you are safe. So let's crack on. This is session 3 in this focus session. So a little bit more progressive today. You're going to need, obviously, your chair, and you've got your towel if you need it, maybe for a bit of support on your knees. And I like to have our mat this way so that when you're actually lying on the floor, when you turn your head sideways, there's no additional strain on the neck, okay? So if you're ready, lovely people, should we begin? All right, so we're going to start this session actually on the floor. So find yourself a place where you've got lots of space around your feet and also at the top of your body. And you're going to come down nice and slowly to a level position. And just from here, let's just start this session with 3 lovely big deep breaths. Start with the arms and the legs extended above the body, but just nice and gently to begin with. So start your first inhalation. And as you come towards the top of that inhalation, that's when you want you to gather that extra little bit of length. So stretch your toes, stretch your fingers, gather, and then let it all out. Good. And then let's do that again. So start your inhalation. And as you come towards the top of your inhalation, start to gather that length in your body. Reach a little bit further with your toes, with your fingertips. Reach. Hold it for a second. And then let it all out. Good. And we'll do that one more time. Nice deep inhalation. And as you feel it coming to the top of your body, ease a little bit further. Almost feel you use that energy to gather the length, gather the stretch. Feel the space between the joints, how the muscles wrap around the body. Feel good. Hold it and then let the body relax. And the arms can come down by your sides, okay? So have your feet extended, and we're just going to start to wake up your feet. So just wriggle your toes to begin with, maybe give them a little roll, see how they feel. And extend then through the heel pad, both at the same time, almost as if you're standing on a platform at the end of your mat. So really push through your heel pads so you energize through the posterior back chain of your body. So you may feel your calves stretch a little bit, you may feel a little bit activity in the hamstrings, maybe a little bit even in your bottom, and then just relax the toes and point them the other way. So really try to get as much stretch over the front of your foot. Just do that one more time. Energize. So the toes are coming towards your shins, but try to make your priority of emphasis towards more your heel pad. So the heel pad actually has an active energy direction through it. Good. And just relax that down. Now from here, draw one leg in towards your chest, keeping one leg extended, and then you're gently going to bring that in towards your chest, just as we've done. Ease a little bit. So holding behind your knees, there's no pressure on that knee joint. And then I'd like you to point this toe really firmly and then extend it, bringing the toes in. So again, just do a couple here. So what we're trying to do is activate just the posterior chain, but also at the front of the leg. So feel how there is a tracking and there is a length and a connection from the foot coming into the knee and into the hip. And then bring that to a point of stillness with the extended leg. And this one here, just roll that ankle around a little bit. Ease it in a little bit more. Stretch this leg a little bit more so we actively feel how there is a connection from here all the way up through the body. Draw it in. And then if this feels comfortable, what I'd like you to do is actually just draw the top knee a little bit across the body, maybe on a diagonal, just see what feels comfortable for you. This is our first exploratory twist, so just take this one steadily, take a deep breath in, maybe a slight tuck under the tailbone so you support the spine as you come back. And then from this position, you're going to come back so that we're in alignment through the hip and the knee, and just start to extend this leg up. So you just feel a little bit of stretch. Oh, hello hamstrings, how are we doing? And then extend it back down. Just do a couple more here. Again, nothing too expansive, just seeing how we're feeling today. Just feel a little bit of stretch, maybe here in the belly of the muscle, maybe a bit more towards the attachments. Just see how that feels for you. And then ease that one down nice and gently, okay? Wriggle the feet and just reassess where you are. So you've got that symmetry in your body. And we're going to repeat on the other side. So draw it into your body. hug that knee in towards your chest, and then really activate the extended leg. So that's where the goodness is. And then flex and energize through the heel pad. So you feel how there's a muscle connection and the body works as one unit. And then point your toes. Good, and do that again. So really feel how you get that movement through the ankle joint, enhancing your mobility. So important for your posture and specifically for your tracking of your feet when you walk. Now from here, let that leg relax, and we're just going to introduce a little bit of rotation here in the ankle, drawing a few circles one way and then the other way, nice and gently. And then from here, draw this knee in just a little bit more, see how that feels for you, and then extend that leg away. So again, feel a bit maybe of a stretch, activate these muscles, maybe a bit of a stretch over the front of the hip, drawing in. And then in your own time, if you'll feel comfortable, take the hand to the outside of that knee. This one can come to the side and just ease it across and just go steadily today. See how it feels to begin with. If you've got lots of lower spine mobility, you might want to come a little bit further, but this is your first one in this session, so just be curious, see how you're feeling today. Deep breath in, tuck your tailbone under, so draw in a little bit of connection in the lower abdominals, come back to the center, and then from here we're going to say hello hamstrings, check your symmetry in your body, lovely people, and extend that leg up, just see how that feels at the back, maybe feeling it in the belly of the muscle, maybe a little bit more into the hips. Wherever we feel it, that's really where we have the tightness in the body. So sometimes we don't necessarily need to judge that, but just build this awareness so we have this positive connection with the body. So just flex the foot, point the toe, see how that feels, and then bring it down to a level position. Now, from here, nice wide stance. So take the feet a little bit wider, and it's quite nice to actually feel different texture between the width of your mat and maybe a carpet or whatever the surface of the floor is. So you build that sensory relationship between your feet and your body and the ground. So from here, you're going to drop the knees one way. Okay, tuck the tailbone under and just take them the other way. So I would call these rock and roll, so we're just twisting them side to side, and then stay here on this side, the same hand that's hit at the top of the knee, bring it up, stretch it right across on diagonal, just give me a little bit of extra lift, and now you're going to do a lovely big circle all the way round and rest on your thigh again. Do that again. So reach up. If you want, you can take that arm out to the side as well, so you get a little bit more length up the upper body and opening. One more time, feeling the length, especially at the top here. Energize into your fingertips and energize that knee away. So you've got, again, active opening of the hip flexor. So important, again, to help safeguard your spine, but also to help with your stride length when you're doing your walk active. Now bring the knees to a center position, and we're going to drop them the other way. So again, check your position, energize that top knee so there's an active relationship from the foot, from the knee, all the way to the hip, and extend that arm up. Now stretch it a little bit further. Good, take a deep breath in and just spin the arms around. So we're getting some upper body mobility, as well as a little bit of, again, connection with the hip flexor here over this area. And this is your session, so just see how you feel. You may have a few oohs, which is good, but you don't want to have any hours. So just be a bit curious, see how it feels for you today. Okay, that's your last one here, lovely people. Draw the knees in and come back to a center position. Wriggle your feet to a center position. Check your symmetry, and then just take your hands above your head and just do 4 really nice big circles of the wrists. Okay, now it's quite easy just to do sort of little small paddles here. I'd like big circumnavigation circles almost of your wrists, so you feel that you get into the articulations, feel how that is. And at the top, come into a prayer position, and you're going to try to keep the elbows together and just drop the fingers one way. See how that feels in terms of the mobility of your wrists that way. Come back to the center and then take them that way. That's good, okay? Now we're going to turn them this way, and we're going to roll the body this way. And from here, come onto your knees, and you're going to ease over, and we find ourselves in on all 4 positions. So from all 4s, just come check that you've got your shoulders over your wrists and your hands are spread really nicely wide. A little bit more emphasis here onto the first finger and the sort of knuckles, so that gives you a little bit more support. Have your shoulders over your wrists and just do a few nice small circles to begin with. You're just making that nice circle action. Tailbone can be tucked under slightly, so you've got a bit of core activation, a bit of stability through your body. Come to a point of stillness and then go the other way. So you're just feeling how your wrists are feeling today. Again, working on the relationship from the hand going into the shoulder, which is very important for when we're maybe doing any more body weight supporting areas, or maybe when you're thinking about with your keyboard on your computer, this alignment is really important as well. So come to stillness. Let's do a couple of cat-cows. So the head is going to come up and you're going to tilt the tailbone out. Think about length through the body. And from here, the sequencing is really important. So tuck that tailbone under, draw up, the head comes down, lift up. Deep breath in at the top. Think about pubic bone and sternum being drawn in together. So a little bit of the abs saying hello, and then roll it out nice and gently. And at this point here, think length through the crown of the head, length through the tail, and distance between pubic bone and sternum. Good. So all the time we're working through length and strength and space in the body. So we're protecting and we're enhancing the posture. Okay, come to this point here. Take the hands now and we're going to turn them sideways. So the fingers are actually turning to the side of your mat. Now you might want to take your knees a little bit further apart to give you a bit more stability and come forward. But then you're just going to ease this way. And then you're going to go this way. Now, if this is a little bit of a different range of motion for you, again, just be exploratory, be curious, and just see how you feel. Sometimes we don't have that much mobility in the wrist and the hand. So we're just seeing where we are, but we want to make sure we maintain that for good hand health, good relationship from the hands to the wrist going up into the body. And also if we have a tumble, this is what's going to support us. So take the hands and now do the other way. We're going to actually point the fingers towards us. How does that feel? Okay. Just have a little bit more tuck under the tailbone so you've got a bit more weight supported on the back of the feet. Push your feet in if you want and just come forward a tad. And just see how that feels and maybe lift up the fingers. Can you do that? So you lift up the palms, okay? And again, come forward. Just working through range of motion, okay? This is maybe an area that we tend not to do, but having all this functionality is quite important. Good job. Okay, come to a point of stillness. Bring the hand back to this position. And what I'd like you to do now is extend that leg out. So just really feel that you push the toes away. So think, excuse me, with the alignment of your foot, you've got big toe, middle toe, middle toe. Energize the heel pad away, bring the head forward. So again, there's an active connection all the way through the body. Really take a deep breath in here, lovely people. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, you're just going to push the hips that way and just turn that side, okay? How does that feel? Take a deep breath in and then come back to a center. And then from here, you're going to breathe in. And as you breathe in, you draw the knee in towards your nose. Take a little look between the two spaces between your hands. And this foot is going to go there, okay? Now, this is where you might want to just have your blanket and tuck it underneath your knees on the back leg. See how that feels. Now, check your tracking here. Down your hip, midline of your knee, over your second toe. And from here, gather the energy, if this feels good, up over your body. And you're on a slight diagonal line, so just a bit of stretch here on your hip flexor. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Let's do that one more time. So just breathe in, hold it at the top. Good, and then come back. Now, in your own time, take your fingertips. Have, again, a bit of integrity in your fingertips. So press into your fingertips or have the palms down, but you want to feel that you've got a little bit of integrity here. And you're going to draw this knee back. Okay, wriggle the hips, come back to point of stability, okay, roll the wrists for me, see how that feels, and then bring them back and extend the other leg out. So come back and reassess where you are with your whole integrity in your body, your length through the crown of the head, energize that heel back. Think, have I got awareness through big toe, middle toe, and little toe? So I really feel that push, push, push. Feel how you maybe open up the hip flexors at the front and also how the leg muscles wrap around that leg. It may seem a very simple exercise, but it's how we do it just as much as what we do. Now from here, just bump your hips over towards that extended leg and take a little look down over the side of the body. So we introduce a bit of back mobility here and then come back on the other side. And now looking down between these hands, draw this knee in towards your nose, bit of activation in the core. And that's where your foot's going to go, people. Here we go. So tuck it there, put a blanket underneath here if you want a bit of extra support, and just see how you feel today. So the further you take the knee back, the more you'll open up the hip flexor. I'm going to take a little bit of a deep breath in. So breathe in, stretch the arms up if that feels good for you. Take a nice breath, open up your heart chakra, let the energy in, and breathe out. Do that one more time. Gather the energy, stretch. Really important to open up this area here. So again, the lower core area can work as much as anything. Tuck your toes underneath you. You're going to draw this knee back behind it. Okay, and then from here, just put your hands into that prayer position and we're going to rest them onto the floor. So my fingers are going one way and I'm just going to ease back over here. Now, I really like this stretch because it allows us to open up into the shoulder girdle at the back. And then just come this way, again, working into a little bit of the range of motion, your hands and your wrists, and do that again. So as you ease away from your fingertips, soften the bottom elbow because that lets the shoulder girdle just spin out and you get those tight muscles at the back, which are quite difficult to isolate. Good, and then come one more this way. Good job. Now, tuck your toes underneath you so we start to get the mobility in your feet. Roll up with the hands. Just roll it once and twice, 3 and 4. Those lovely big circles again, once and twice and 3 and 4. And we're going to roll down so we get that nice articulation, prayer position, and we do the same thing. So the hands are going this way. Check that you've got maybe a little bit wider width in your feet to give you a bit of stability, and start by just coming over your fingers one way and then easing the other way. So I've got a slight softness to the bottom arm, and imagine also to get the correct position with the upper body, imagine I've got a pane of glass sort of in front of me here, and all I'm doing is just moving my body from side, that's it, get that nice opening of the shoulder girdle to side. Okay, how's that feeling for you today? Now from here, gorgeous people, spread those fingertips, tuck those toes underneath you, and we're just going to lift and tuck our tailbone underneath us and walk our hands in towards our body nice and gently. From here, just have a little bit of a forward hanging bend. Just nod the head yes and no, tuck under through tailbone, look at life upside down, see how it is for you today, and then ease those knees down a little bit. So generous bend in the knees, weight in the heel pad and the ball of the foot. Check how much bend and flex you've got here in the ankle joint, that's important. Hip distance here, so again that safeguards the tracking from the foot to the knee to the hip, and you're going to ease up in your own time, gently unfold, stretching up nice and tall, and then spin the arms. So really take the hands wide here, wide, 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 and flex them wide to really get as much stretch as possible between your thumb and little finger. So you feel the flesh between your fingers stretch, and then play the piano. Do that for me again. Stretch them wide, play the piano. You've got one more. Stretch them wide, wide, wide. Flesh between digits 1, 2, 3. Play the piano. Good job. Now, I'm going to split my legs. A little bit of a wide stance, not too wide because you want to feel stable, and if you want to have a chair here for support, please do. And all you're going to do on the back foot is just come through, articulate through those joints and lift the front toes. So in this position, I'm at that pad, hopefully between that pad of my foot and my toes, and then just come forward here one more time, just warming up those feet, and again helps open up the hip flexors and the tracking. And then from here, come to a point of stillness. First foot is down at the front, and just take this back foot back a little bit. And again, if you want to have a chair for support, please do. Come up onto the junction of what we call in WalkActive the open ankle, and just bend the knees a little bit, and think of one unit from the knee and the hip. So you're pressing into the hip flexors. Hands are by my sides. I'm going to take a deep breath in. This will probably increase the stretch you feel on the hip flexor. And again, the further the leg is back, the more you'll feel an opening on the hip flexors. So use your own knowledge, what you know of your body, how that feels. Take a last deep breath in, and then spin the arms wide. And while you do that, the hands are really stretched. Now, think about putting here, thumb here and little finger on your hip bone as we do with WalkActive. So that's our global greeting. Keep the distance as I push off that foot and bring that one back here. Do the same on the other side. So I've got a small little split to begin with, and I just start to articulate through the feet, bring the feet up, articulate through the back foot, flex the front foot. Do one more of these. That's good, okay? And then come to a position of stillness at the front. Take that back foot a little bit. Whatever feels comfortable for you. Feel steady. Have a chair there. The quality of movement's really important. So rise up. Take your time even to get into the right position here. So really be disciplined and proud of how you move your body. Lift up through the body. Drop that knee down a little bit. Again, be curious. See how it feels today. Push the knee and the hip forward as one unit. Distance between the ribs and the hips with your global greeting. Add your 3 deep breaths if you want. So I'm going to come up and come back. So this is a really nice hip flexor stretch, but also we're working into the strength of the foot and the mobility of the foot. So that's going to help with our stride and our correct tracking. Now, keep that distance, step in, walk through the feet. Okay, right, now grab your chair. We're going to progress it a little bit more. So from here, don't need that anymore. I'm going to put my foot on my chair. So again, find what feels good for you with your stability and your balance and how your body feels right here, right now. Check midline of kneecap, second toe, that's good tracking. Lift up. You may want to take the foot further back or further in, that's up to you. Now, take this hand, stretch it up really tight, wrap it around that your thigh, that's the word I'm looking for, and then you're going to just ease the leg back. So imagine you've got a piece of string and lifting yourself up. So you feel a bit of a stretch here in the hamstrings, and then I'm going to come forward and press forward. So again, I'm working into mobility of the ankle joint. You may feel a stretch in the calf, you may feel a stretch in the hand on the hip flexors. Let's do a couple of those so it's a little bit more of a dynamic, flowing stretch. Again, nice and steady. Last one. Keep the breath smooth as well, all right? And then from here, you're going to just maybe adjust your position. So for me, I need to take my feet a bit further apart, and I'm going to take my hands here if that feels good, or you can leave one hand on the chair. I'm just going to reach up and come back. So a little bit of a deeper calf stretch maybe, working into the mobility of the ankle because I'm having to flex the ankle a bit more. And maybe you're feeling a bit of a stretch here on the hip flexor. Now we're going to progress this. This is actually focus, remember, session 3, so that work to your level. If you want to progress this, come up onto that junction between the padded foot and toes, bend the knee a little bit, check there's still the tracking here at the front. Midline, you should be able to see your toes a little bit over the second toe, and just push the hips. And this is quite a deep hip flexor stretch, okay? Just hold it here. Take the arms up if you want, okay? Your choice. I'm just giving you lots of different options here. Breathe in, and the arms come wide. Keep the distance between your ribs and hips. Lift up, foot comes down, this one comes down, and walk through your feet. How's that, all right? Bring this one up here. So set it up, and we do the same thing on the other side. So feel how you are. Check midline of your kneecap, second toe, a little bit of a stretch here, feet facing forward. Chair at the back here is giving you support, lifting up, wrap that arm around so you've got good stability. This hand can come down here, which feels quite nice for me. See how that is for you. And I'm just going to stretch back. Hello hamstrings, how are we doing? And then I'm going to ease forward. So feel how you're getting a little bit more movement in the ankle joint as you do this. So as I lean forward, so the lean and the pivot is actually from the ankle joint, and I open up the hip flexor here. Last one, breathe in. And as I ease out, I'm going to take that hand away, and I'm just going to move my foot back a little bit, but this is entirely up to you. The further this goes back, the more you'll feel a stretch. So see how your body's feeling today. Now, from here, just take the arms up, stretch up, good, and come back. So a little bit of a hip flex stretch, and we're going to hold this one here. If you want to make it more progressive, tuck your toes underneath you, tilt under, keep that distance with your global greeting between your ribs and your hips, so you have that integrity, that length and that tautness. Now drop it down, your hand can be here. Think about this. If you want to make it even more kind of opening up the hip flexors, take the arms up. So lots of little options how you can feel depending on the time of day, what you've been doing, how much WalkActive. You can actually do this actually post WalkActive as well as before if you want. So from here, lovely people, keep the distance, come up, heel comes down, check your alignment, and then lift that foot off. Okay, we all right? Got one last one, which is lovely, 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 lovely triangle box stretch, fabulous. So come over to a wall or kitchen bench, or if you're out in the park, you can do this with your wooden bench. You're going to take a big deep breath in, and we're going to make shapes, just as we've done in each of these focus sessions. So the first shape we make is a triangle, and the wall is obviously one side of the triangle. The bottom of the triangle is the floor, and we are the diagonal from our ankles, from our hips, extending up through the crown of the head, almost as if we're going to dissect this wall here. So just think about the discipline of this a little bit, people. So you have distance in the ankle joint, have it in the knees and the hips, and extend up. So don't rush this. Take time to invest in yourself and be proud of your movement quality. Now from here, rise up onto your toes, trying to explore that junction between padded foot and toes, even alignment through big toe, middle toe, little toe. And then I'm going to lift up through the hips. So I'm changing shape to a box. So the heels come down, and you may well need to adjust your foot position so that you have a parallel line from your ankle, so from your ankle, your knee and your hip, you are perpendicular to the ground. Lift your tailbone up at the back. So the box position is parallel line at the floor, parallel line from my fingertips, my shoulders all the way to my hips. So the key thing here is a little bit of a tilt at the tailbone and thinking about length between the pubic bone and the sternum. So draw up. This is really great to get stretch in this kind of deceptively tight area here at the insertions of the hamstrings and the pelvis area. Keep the length. Now from here, just let the ankles drop out to the side. That's maybe a little bit different. We haven't done that before. And then bring them in. So almost like you're becoming knock-kneed a bit. And you're just working through inversion and eversion, getting a little bit of movement on the side of your feet. How does that feel? Okay, now from here, just as we've done in the previous 2 sessions, come up onto our toes, angle the feet that way, they come back down, and ease and lift up through the hips, so almost like a trapezium shape that we've made, and then we come up and we come the other way. This is our last little bit, people. You've done so well. Breathe in. So your body should feel quite long, quite open, quite receptive in all those kind of little areas that maybe don't get too much TLC in terms of our wrists and our hands, our feet and ankles and our hip flexors. Press back, bend those knees, a little bit of a gentle walk in, and then we're going to stretch up. And as we come up to the top, again, take your time. This is your body, your session. Stretch those hands really, really wide. So feel the length and the space between every single digit. Stretch, 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 stretch. Breathe in, and as we take the arms wide, get ready. We're going to hug in the love, people. Our most important part of the session, our day together. So stretch in, hug in the love. Give yourselves a big, 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 big squish. Let the corners of your mouth rise up. Let your chin come down a little bit so you get a little bit of a stretch. Keep the distance between the pubic bone and the sternum. And just think a nice, yummy thought. Well done. Breathe in. And breathe out. We're going to create symmetry in the body, so we just do the other side. This is our last one. Okay, get ready. So we hug it in, and after the count of 3, we're going to send our love around the world. Thank you so much for joining me today. I would love to know how you got on, so leave me a comment below. Get ready. We're going to send our love around this world, lovely people. After the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Whoosh. It's gone. Well done. That was session 3 on my focus on wrists, ankles and hip flexors. Thank you so much for joining me. So this was a progressive session, session 1, session 2, session 3, all filmed live. Catch them anytime, really complimentary to my WalkActive system, because ankles, once we start to get more mobility in the ankle and also in the hip flexors, actually takes pressure off the knees and will help with the tracking from the foot to the knee and the hip, and you'll use your bum and that whole posterior chain far more effectively. So give it a go. Come back and revisit them anytime. Really beneficial for your body, but also if you're doing a lot of work at your desk and you're using your hands with your keyboard and your mouse, all of these are really beneficial for how we live the quality of our life in terms of a lifestyle as well. So gorgeous, people. Next week I'll be back live Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and I'd love to hear from you. What would you like me to focus on? Leave me a comment below. I'd love to hear that. And on that, I'm going to say goodbye. Have a great day. Look after yourself. Thank you so much for joining me. You are awesome today. Bye bye.